In the area of health, you know, it is pathetic. And I am happy that the president has reminded us that in this chamber we are representing people. I listened for 5 days, and members of parliament were painting the health sector as if it is okay. And what somebody said, we've recruited over 600 doctors. To train the doctor takes over 7 years. Yeah. Meaning the doctors you are recruiting now were trained by the past administration. And the fees they were paying in those universities were cheaper than they are today. Yes. But what's up? We are coming from homes, we are coming from districts and chiefdoms where even if we are sick, we cannot dare venture enter those PHUs. The health conditions in our villages and our towns is worse off that we cannot take our lives into those hospitals. But we are here painting a situation as if everything is okay. Thank you, Mr. President, for reminding us that we are the habitat, we are the hope of the people. Go to Rokubu today in Cambia district. I am happy that Fofana did not venture into the health sector in Cambia district. Mr. Speaker, SO2, now grassman testing at the hospital. Mr. Speaker, because of our personal relationship, sometimes we forget that we don't call ourselves honorable members with Honorable Kekwa from Bo. Sorry, for that. Now we go to the health sector. Let me conclude. Mr. Speaker, if we are sincere about the health condition of our people, there is no problem if we can make law the free health care. The reason for it is, Mr. Speaker, these are actually the issues that affect our people. Affordability of medications. If they cannot eat well, let them have hope that the hospitals, the health care can meet them when they are sick. In the area of education, I am happy seeing my friend trying to solve the problem. But the problem is bigger than him.
Look at it there. Look at it. Today, you're fine. This is a madman.
In paragraph
no handicap, no
34, we talked about education. My concerns are not just on what have been done or what cannot be done. My concern basically today is advocating for the ordinary teachers in these classrooms.
Perfect.
You know, it is almost a sin for members of parliament in this world. Mr. Speaker, indeed, I am passionate because as we speak, subsidies for third term last year have not been paid. How do we run those schools? As we speak, let's even assume they've been paid. But if you delay to pay them, how do you expect the schools to run? Admission fees in those schools are more expensive than the fees we pay for the JSS and the primary school when your child is entering into either stages of the school calendar. I have my kids in government schools and not private schools, so I feel it. The condition of wash in those schools is worse off. And I went to Bo in 2019, and we were with the Committee on Water Resources. We found out that the systems were built, but because the schools were asked to pay for the water facility, and they don't have subsidies on time, all those facilities were damaged by wind. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we must take definite steps as members of parliament because we represent the people and the people are the custodians of authority and power. We must not allow our teachers to go with less than $100 a month. It was that poverty situation of the teachers that led Kekua Vandi of Bo into politics. Most of us here children ran away from the classrooms because the condition of teachers is worse off. We must take decisions for our teachers not to be paid less than $100 in this country, no matter the circumstance. Yes, they want the awards. Yes, they feel motivated when they get the awards, but they want to pay. They want to pay for their children to universities. They want to have the opportunities of going for vacations. We all graduated in the same colleges and universities, but their lives today, they deserve better. For politics to kill the very hopes of our people in governance, it means today we must open up our minds to listen to the opposition as always, and to see us that we are part of governance, and the issue we raise are not out of politicking, but out of a reasonable reason to find solutions to the hopes of the ordinary people. Mr. Speaker, after this, I'll venture to go into agriculture. Mr. Speaker, in 2007, before the election of 2007, we had food security. Before 2018, we had of bread and butter. And today, we have a new slogan, Feed Salon. Either of these talks about addressing the needs of our people in terms of food. But the question one tends to ask is, what are the differences? What have we not done right? What have we not done right to salvage the issue of our people's bread and butter? Why have we used bread and butter issues as political tool to war our people, and after which we just abandon them? And the president linked food security to national security. He says if we cannot feed our people, an angry man is an angry man. Therefore, it is incumbent on us as the political class to address those issues that link our people to food security. Mr. Speaker, food security is not just the availability of food in the market. It's the earning power of the people to purchase the food. So when we talk about food security and we narrow off the ability of the people to purchase the food, it's a problem in itself. But the president went further to say we need private sector involvement into agriculture. This was visible in the last 10 years of Ernest Koroma. We saw companies flooding into Sierra Leone. Today you go to Samaland, you meet surfing. You go to Lugu, you go to many places. And these were distributed across the country. And that is how you boost food security. With tangible private sector involvement. Mr. Speaker, say what you may. You've been a chairman of agriculture. By government intervention and budgetary allocations alone, we cannot feed our people. And that is why it is incumbent on us as Sierra Leoneans to market our country's potentials, so we'll have people to come in. That is where I agree with the president that governance should be kept away from politics. Today, we are where we are because we see ourselves not promoting agriculture. What I have noticed in the last 5 years, I have seen companies that have come into Sierra Leone fold up. Very close to my constituency in Mange, there was an oil palm agricultural project. That one has folded up already.
I have said in the past.
In Ile has also folded up. Adat is struggling to survive. And in the area of Adat, It was a dual. It was both agriculture and an energy enhancing company. But today they've all folded up. And this is one of the most significant areas that we need to bring investors into agriculture. But for 6 years now, going to 7 years, this government has not brought in any, I repeat, agricultural company into CLU.
Go ahead.
So then we talk about, I read through and areas of expansion. He said we have expanded more lands. We have done more invalid swamps. But in this speech, the speech writers do not give us the number of how many hectares of lands they've added, how many irrigations they've done. And agriculture is a science. And having a leader of government business who is himself a scientist knows these are factual analysis that are missing. And I will challenge this house. I listened to the honorable member from Poloko, who said, she said in her village today she can ride on smooth road. I challenge this house. There is no single road in the north that has been tarred for 7 years. Mr. Speaker, what's up? In 2021, when the president ventured into naming roads in western area and the provincial areas where they've tarred roads, none was measured in the north. And it does not only stop there. Roads that were in progress by 2018 were cancelled, including the Tokoliba road. The road to BT was cancelled.
Sorry, Honorable, which area in Tokoliba?
The road leading to Tokoliba.
It was never started.
No, it was. Mr. Speaker, let me end.
I am a descendant of Tokoliba, and I do go there. No, I do go there. I do go to Tokoliba. What I know in Tokoliba is under this administration, Kamasasa, they are enjoying from the solar mini grid. But the road leading from Cambia after the radio station, going into Tokoliba, that road has never seen any machine until when the by-election went to move in some machines and graded the road. I am from Tonko and I do go there, so I know exactly what is happening around Tokoliba. Maybe that's another area in Tokoliba.
Mr. Speaker, in case you don't know, the road from Kamakwe to Tompare was supposed to come through Tokoliba and Cambia. In case you don't know, go back and check for that document. Maybe because you are from Tokoliba and Cambia district, we will use your kind office to revitalize that agreement that was laid and approved in this house.
No, I remember. I will give you 1 more minute, but before I give you that 1 more minute, let me state this. The road you are referring to is 148 kilometers road. Sure. It was only 14 kilometers that was done, and that 14 kilometers has to do with mobilization, clearing, and drainages. So it means there was no step taken from that point, from the commencement, to taking it to Tokoliba. Because if you say Tokoliba now, I am sorry, I'm not defending anybody, but that is my home. My father comes from Tokoliba, so I know about Tokoliba. I do go there. So if you've done 14 out of 148 kilometers, that is just a drop in the bucket.
Mr. Speaker, let's even say it is a teaspoon. It's a teaspoon in the midst of an ocean. But the truth of the matter is, you just made it very easy for me. The road has been abandoned from either part of it. That's just my point. You made it so easy for me, Mr. Speaker.
Can I say this also before you continue? This is a house of facts. Honorable member, this is a house of facts. And the contractor for that road was Compagnie Salienne the Enterprise, that is CSE. They abandoned the road because from the commencement they were given comforts that they can invest and they will be paid at the point of advising IPCs. But because the IPCs that they advised were not paid, they had to abandon the road even before 2018.
Mr. Speaker, whatever way of the argument, the fact is the road has been abandoned.
But it was not.
So let me go, Mr. Speaker. I have to talk on something very important for the education of this house. Mr. Speaker, whatever way the road has been abandoned, we have the road leading the Makeni Township Road have also been abandoned.
3213.
Mr. Speaker, let me go to infrastructure. Maybe this is where I fault the speech writers. They talked about infrastructural buildings that are ongoing. But Mr. Speaker, every day before you became the Speaker of this House, the Deputy Speaker, we'll go to 98.1. We saw the fine buildings started by EPA. They are not measured in this statement. Pardon for forgetting. What about the NATCA building that was started by the late Momo Conte? Those are not investments we should forget about.
And
on that note, Mr. Speaker, let me summarize, and I challenge everybody in this house. Go to the Chue Chinese hospital that was built and handed over to us. Today, it is worse than the hospital in my village. It is so filthy, and it's a shame on us as politicians. Let me end with this.
For allowing me to add my voice to this important debate. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I am Honorable Ibrahim Aziz Bangura, representing the people of Kotloko District. Mr. Speaker, let me at this juncture extend my thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the President, retired Brigadier Julius Madabio, for the speech he presented in this honorable house on the 6th of August 2024. Mr. Speaker, for the exigency of time, I will now want to zoom into infrastructure, and I will now refer this honorable house to page 9, paragraph 71 and paragraph 70. But Mr. Speaker, with your leave, permit me to read an excerpt from the presidential address of 2021. And Mr. Speaker, and it reads, it says, my government has completed the pre-feasibility study for the construction of the Lungi Bridge, and that the cable stay design concept has been reviewed to reduce the total cost of the bridge to 1.2 billion. A developer to finance the bridge has been identified, and it is now left with Parliament to ratify the agreement so that work will start. Mr. Speaker, this statement was presented in this honorable house in 2021, and now we are in 2024. 3 years down the line, nothing has happened. Mr. Speaker, I consider the statement of His Excellency as a policy statement. So whatever he says in this honorable house must be implemented. Mr. Speaker, I am surprised to have the presidential spokesman, who happens to be my uncle, the Honorable Alpha Khan, he was saying on television that the Lungi Bridge is no longer a priority for His Excellency the President. And Mr. Speaker, honorable members, there is also a public notice that was put out by the Minister of Information, and that a memorandum was signed by the government of Sierra Leone and the Chinese government and the Chinese company for the construction of the Lungi Bridge. And that work is going to commence late December 2024. And now we are now closer to December, but nothing has happened. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I don't want to be disappointed again, because I've been disappointed once. I have already prepared my Shobi for the launch of the Lungi Bridge, but nothing has happened. So, Mr. Speaker, the Lungi Bridge is so important to us as a country, because if we are able to construct that Lungi Bridge, it will help to decongest Freetown. If we are able to construct that Lungi Bridge, it will help to reduce the traveling time to Conakry by an hour. If we are able to construct the Lungi Bridge, it will help Kafublom and the entire Kotloko district. So I want to call on His Excellency the President to say whatever he has stated in this honorable house must be implemented. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I will now move on to roads. And like what my brother has just said, the Honorable Bash, that government is continuity. But Mr. Speaker, our roads in Lunge, those roads are being abandoned. The Maera Rotifunk Road that links the chiefdom headquarters town has been abandoned. And that road is so important to us because, one, it links Maera with one of the most densely populated markets, which is in Rotifunk. It also links us with one of the oldest hospitals, which is the Baibure Memorial Hospital. And that same road links us with majority of our schools in Kafubulom Chiefdom. But since this government came to power, that's why all those roads have been abandoned. And that is the problem for us. The previous government started the construction of the drainages, and we expected this government to continue and then complete that road. But up to now, they abandoned that road. And Mr. Speaker, that road links Maera with the other towns. And Mr. Speaker, all the bridges that links Maera with the other communities, all those bridges have collapsed. Mr. Speaker, the bridge that links Maera and Tulu community, that bridge has collapsed. And the bridge that links Maera and Kamem community, that bridge has also collapsed. And the bridge that links Cambia, Amina and Maera, that bridge has also collapsed, Mr. Speaker. That Maera is the chiefdom headquarters town, and Maera is now gradually turning to an island, Mr. Speaker, because of those bridges that have been collapsed. And Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we also have another road, which is the Talebu Konakiri Road. That road is also being abandoned, Mr. Speaker. And there is a bridge that links Luge Town and Beke Town. That bridge is also on the brink of collapsing. And Mr. Speaker, our people traded their votes for those roads. And just after the SLPP government won the by-election in 2018, they abandoned that road and they move away with all the machines. And Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I will now move on to job creation. And Mr. Speaker, I'm referring this honorable house to page 7, paragraph 53. And Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I want to read an excerpt from the 2018 presidential address that was stated by His Excellency the President. And it reads, yes, we also remain committed to promoting music and performing arts. Page 23, and performing arts, given the jobs it creates for our youth and the rebranding of our image as a nation. My government will review and enforce the policies and laws governing this sector. Mr. Speaker, as I'm speaking, not a single policy or law has been reviewed for the entertainment sector. And Mr. Speaker, we have quite a good number of our youth that are engaging in the entertainment sector. And we are talking about youth unemployment. We have quite a good number of our brothers. If we are encouraging them to enter into the entertainment sector, that will help out to cut down the issue of youth unemployment. And Mr. Speaker, it's that time we started treating the issue of the youth with the utmost seriousness it deserves. Mr. Speaker, the youth are the barometers into which the development of any nation can be measured. So if that is the case, we must invest on our youth, give them the kind of support they deserve. And Mr. Speaker, it is on that note I want to link job creation and entertainment. Mr. Speaker, entertainment can be used as a platform for job creation. And Mr. Speaker, in Nigeria, the government saw entertainment as a revenue-generating entity. That is why they've invested so much on entertainment. But Mr. Speaker, that is why we are now seeing entertainment is contributing to the growth of the Nigerian economy. But Mr. Speaker, in Sierra Leone, that is the reverse. Our artists, our entertainers are only needed whenever we have elections. That is the artists, the comedians, the actors and actresses. As soon as elections are over, they are being abandoned. And Mr. Speaker, even at times when we have our national programs in this country, we prefer prioritizing those foreign entertainers to come to Sierra Leone to grace our occasion, and we pay them thousands of dollars, giving stipend to our local artists. And then we say we want to empower our youth. And Mr. Speaker, even the auditorium that was promised by His Excellency the President to construct for the entertainment industry, for the screening of films and the launching of albums. Not a single block has been laid up to now. And Mr. Speaker, I want to end with the issue of electricity. And Mr. Speaker, Kafublom, where I came from, we are currently struggling of having sustainable electricity. And Mr. Speaker, Alomstar again, that has been one of the bread baskets of this country, has been struggling of having sustainable electricity. And Mr. Speaker, Kafublom is the gateway of this country. And we house the only international airport. Mr. Speaker, if you pay a visit to Kafublom at night, you see how deplorable, how dark Kafublom is. And Mr. Speaker, there is an annex that says, first impression goes a long way. You cannot continue to improve on the airport, leaving the township unimproved. The improvements of the airport should go simultaneously with the improvements of the township. And most of us have traveled overseas. We see most of the areas that these airports were located, those areas are very beautiful, and really take a look at their environment. So, Mr. Speaker, electricity is a challenge for our people, and it's on that note I want to thank Mr. Speaker for giving me this session to have my say in this one important debate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.